We're going to start things off with a late ad. How about this edge rusher? My guy, Lugard E. Really good guy. 4-star commit, top 300 ranked player in the country. He was considering Maryland and Michigan as of this morning. He's from Maryland, and Lugard decided to head to Ann Arbor. Tall edge rusher, 6'6".
His arms?
Oh my! We got an athlete trying to block him.
How come Jeremiah Smith wasn't Jeremiah S., but he's Lugard?
No comment on that. Here's a look at Michigan's top commits. Some names to keep an eye on. Jordan Marshall, one of the top 5 players in the state of Ohio, going to Michigan. Jaden Davis, the quarterback, he comes from Charlotte. He's one of the 3 best players from the state of North Carolina. And a big offensive lineman, Andrew Sprague. How's 6'8" sound for an offensive lineman?
Large.
Good. Heading to the Michigan Wolverines. We do not have Jim Harbaugh joining us for this show. He's got a playoff game to prepare for, and we understand that. But Alan, give me a big picture before we dive into the class. What are your takeaways from this group?
Well, I think another really strong class top to bottom, really good on both lines of scrimmage. You mentioned Andrew Sprague, but really good offensive line class, extremely good defensive line class, which they added to today. They got a quarterback, which they wanted to get a good one in this class, Jaden Davis, big-time recruit for them. So I think when you look top to bottom of this class, all needs were filled, and they have top-line guys coming in at every position. And, by the way, they had a pretty quiet National Signing Day. Yeah. Nobody was flipping. They weren't babysitting anybody. That's a good thing.
And I mentioned Sprague, the offensive lineman, 6'8", almost 300 pounds. When you watch film on him, what stands out?
Well, when we first started watching him, he was 250 pounds and was a power forward center in basketball, and he was able to add the weight and keep the athleticism, and now he's a super physical guy, as you can see on tape here. He was known as more of a developmental guy early on. I think now he looks like a guy that can play early in his career. This is the highest ranked guy in the class. He's a future left tackle, and I think a guy who can play on Sundays if all goes well. I'Marion Stewart, he's going to be in the studio later, so I'll say nice things, but I would have said nice things anyway. Transferred to Chicago Kenwood this year after playing at Bolingbrook and did a lot of things that I think he'll do at Michigan. He's an in-space guy, crafty route runner, really good after the catch, returned a number of kicks and punts for touchdowns as well. I think he'll fill that role for Michigan. So they come, after getting Samaj Morgan last year, they find another guy with some similar traits in I'Marion Stewart. We mentioned Aaron Scott earlier. Michigan didn't get him and Bryce West. They circled back on some corners. They had Josiah Edmond in camp. He was committed to Purdue at the time, and I think he was a really, really good take. Big, long, athletic kid who's played running back. He's played some safety, played all over the field, but they're going to try him at cornerback first, and you can see from these clips, he has the ability to be a big outside corner. Then, running back Micah Kapana might be one of the real sleepers in this class. Mike Hart had his choice of other running backs to go with. This is the guy he picked, and he knows a thing or two about running backs, I think. He ran for a lot of yards out there, Bishop Gorman, a really good program. Would have run for more yards if they hadn't kind of put teams away and he played in more second half. So look out for this guy, really good in between the tackles runner.
So here's Jacob Oden, who's listed as an athlete, will probably play safety at Michigan by some recruiting sites. Michigan loves him as a prospect. He doesn't have an ideal sexy offer list, but these are the guys Michigan has been winning with. Really good tape even as a receiver, though. He'll play on the defensive side of the ball. Great top-end speed, ideal size, and Michigan has developed and done really well with safeties. He'll improve by specializing at Michigan. How about a linebacker? And once again, Michigan knows what they like. He played both linebacker and running back in high school. Mike Barrett played quarterback. Mullings, Hassan Haskins, same mold. And don't forget his teammate is the #1 player in the 25 class, and Bryce Underwood. Good speed as a linebacker, plays both ways, which I do think helps him read and diagnose plays. And at the point of contact, he doesn't slow down. He accelerates through the tackle.
Another one of these edge players. This is a theme, huh? Get those edge guys out there. They're long, they're lean. I really love his first step off the ball. He's going to develop. As he gets in the weight room, I think Ben was going to do an unbelievable job, but some of the athleticism that he shows and puts on film, you just can't teach that. So now it's just a matter of putting him into a position where he can be in a perfect spot to be able to win. Frazier, you see him here at the left tackle. What I've always loved about when you have young offensive linemen, are they willing to finish? Do they want to finish? Do they have that nasty streak? And that's exactly what you're seeing right here. We know that Michigan does an unbelievable job of developing their offensive linemen. This is going to be really a nice project for them. And not saying that it's going to take a while for him to get there, but a project from the standpoint of just continuing to develop and being able to take those skills that he has and be able to enhance them in the Michigan program.
An interesting recruiting note with Michigan. The years 20, 21, and 22, they had one player from the state of Ohio. One in those 3 years combined. Last year they had 4. This year, once again, they have 4 guys from that talent-rich state. And well, if you look at Michigan, they are bringing in some really talented players. And look at the skill position. A running back of note, a quarterback of note, and 3 pass catchers of note, including I'Marion Stewart. And I'Marion Stewart is joining us in studio right now. First off, congratulations on committing to the Michigan Wolverines. Why'd you choose them?
It just felt like home from everywhere else. You know, I've been there a lot of times, like 7, about 10 times. Every time I've been there, they welcome me like family, welcome my family like family, and it just felt like home.
Do you remember the moment that it popped in your head? Were you on campus? Were you driving back? Or when did the light bulb kind of go off and you said, this is where I want to be?
It's like, you know, when you go out there, you walk out the stadium and they introduce you to like the whole stadium. You just imagine the whole crowd and it just feels special. And then it hits you like, I think I see myself doing a lot of things here.
We saw up there some of the other commits that'll be part of your class. Of course, quarterback Jaden Davis has a big-time name. He'll be throwing you passes. Have you had much time to develop a relationship with him?
I mean, we'll talk here and there, but, you know, we played in the All-American game our freshman year. So we got a little connection there, and that's when we had that. We first started talking. He threw me a few balls. We got cool, and we just been cool since, and now we end up going to the same college. So.
How has your perception of Michigan changed over the years? Because a handful of years ago, there was a time when Michigan was really struggling, and now they're in the playoff every single year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I never seen myself going to Michigan.
Yeah?
To be honest, like ever. I watched them play, but it's like I don't think I'll never go there. But to see that over the years, they offered me my sophomore year, and then they just started talking to me every day through the years, and as we started talking, our relationship got closer. And I started liking it way more.
And did you not want to go there because you're like, I know the tight ends that used to play there, and I don't want anything to do with those dudes?
And back then when I used to watch, they did run the ball a lot too. So it's like, I never really seen myself there.
So everybody says they want to play as a true freshman, but you can watch Michigan and see a guy like Samaj Morgan who has some similar skill sets to you. When you watch that, do you kind of picture yourself doing some of the things he does, returning punts, and how have they said you fit into that?
Yeah, I definitely do, because, you know, they got Samaj also playing slot receiver, and he could play outside if he wanted to, and I think I could also do the same thing. Also, a Roman Wilson, that was a person they compared me to out there on the field. So I think when I get in there, punt return, getting the punt returns first, at least get out on the field to do that, but it'll also be great to start on offense too.
Funny enough, I'Marion, I grew up in Columbus, so I did not see myself going
to
going to Michigan. And I loved my time there. It turned out
That's
great.
Crazy.
Mike kind of hinted at something about just the evolution of Michigan's offense. I think this year in particular, you're seeing them really put an emphasis on the passing game. Where do you think you can fit into the continued growth with Michigan's passing attack?
You know, just being that fast, shifty type guy, you know, getting the ball out early, the quick routes, the hitches, and even the go balls and deep balls. If you're talking about speed too. So I think Michigan, we're going to start, it's going to be like an air raid offense. It's looking like.
Okay. Last question for you. How do you describe meeting Jim Harbaugh?
Super cool dude, like super cool. You wouldn't even expect it. I mean, you would, but the way I was talking to him, he just chilling back cool. And you know how you got to be a little respectful, but he's sitting there slouched up in the chair chilling. We just talking, super cool dude.
I love it. I'Marion Stewart, congratulations. This is a big-time deal. You're going to play for a very big program. Best of luck when you're in Ann Arbor.
Thank you.